The men's hormone cycle is around 24 hours, and the female cycle is around 28 days, give or take. And not a lot of women know what goes on in their body on those 28 days. Not a lot of women know what goes into the pills and the contraception that they take, purely because we really are not told. Really are not told. You get taught about it at school very young. I don't even remember getting taught about the phases of a period. When you go to the doctors for birth control, they don't necessarily tell you all the things that it's going to be doing to your body. So they prescribe it very young. When you obviously haven't thought about it too much, or even if you have, you are not told to the extreme of what's going to go on in your body, what's in the pills. And yeah, so today I really want to talk about periods, the different phases of the periods, and how to be more in tune with them, how to cycle sync, how to be more harmonious with your period, because to me it's a beautiful thing, and I actually really enjoy having my period. I know that can't be the case for everyone. I'm in a very lucky position where I haven't experienced anything like endometriosis or PCOS or anything like that. So I'm aware that could be really difficult for someone to embrace their period, but I just hope that this helps you understand a little bit more about what goes on in your body during those 28 days. And today, the kind of tea I got is a rose petal and butterfly pea. There's a bit of coriander on my cup. Now it's on me. Anyway, a little bit of rose petal and butterfly pea tea. Butterfly pea tea is like really strong. Like I put one petal and it's blue. Like it's a very blue color. I have no idea what it tastes like. Yeah, it's in this cute little polka dot mug. That's scrummy. That's nice. So yeah, I'm just gonna go through first the four stages of and the four phases of a period, and how you can kind of tune into it and how you can live your life accordingly, because it feels really nice and natural when you you live by it and you have certain things that you do at different phases. It helps you to kind of be a lot more kinder to yourself during the phases that aren't particularly nice. So I'm going to start off with the follicular phase, which can be compared to like the spring. So each phase can be kind of correlated to a season, in terms of how you're feeling. So in your follicular phase, this is just after your period. Things are starting to bloom again, and your uterus is starting to line again. Your energy is starting to increase. You may feel like a little bit more productivity coming along. This is the best time to kind of start doing more vigorous exercise. It's starting new things, starting tasks, starting essays. You're feeling quite motivated, just like kind of waking up again. It's quite a nice phase to be in, and it lasts around, I think, 10 to 14 days. I'm just going to disclaimer here before we actually get into this. I'm not a medical professional nor a doctor, so please don't take my advice as medical advice. I'm just someone who loves to research this and loves to talk about it. But yeah, after the follicular phase that lasts about 10 to 14 days, you have your ovulation phase, which is probably everyone's personal favorite because you feel the most energetic and most alive because you're peak testosterone at this time. Now, testosterone is linked to productivity, it's linked to your sex drive, and generally you just feel a lot more sociable. You want to go out more, you want to talk to more people, you have a bit more confidence. It's a nice phase to be in, and you have the most energy to do things. Things I like to do in my ovulation phase is definitely go on runs, do like HIIT workouts, something very high energy, high intense, because I have the energy to do that. If I'm going out drinking, I'll go out drinking, or just going out in general. Find it easier to socialize. I have more of a social battery. And yeah, that's the phase to get stuff done. And usually in ovulation, I like to eat very very clean and energetic foods, stuff like fresh fruit and vegetables, because your body has a bit more energy to digest them. That always feels really good to me. So after your ovulation phase, which is around the 2 week mark in the 28-day cycle, so around day 14-ish, give or take. Everyone's period's different. I'm going to put this clip a little bit further up. It's kind of annoying me. So after your ovulation phase, you have what we call a luteal phase. And your luteal phase, it can be considered your autumn phase. So follicular spring, ovulation summer, and luteal autumn. And your autumn phase, you're kind of starting to wind down a little bit. Your energy's dropping. The testosterone has dropped. This is the longest out of all the phases. It takes a little while. For the first couple of days, you still might be feeling quite high energy. But it does drop off and you start to feel a little bit more going into your shell, wanting to stay in bed a little bit longer and not do so much. And to this, just embrace it. Embrace it as much as you can. I'm aware that everyone has busy lives to lead and it's very difficult to actually succumb to these phases when you have a job and when you have bills to pay and when you have stuff to do. But I encourage you, at any free moment that you have, any free time that you have, and you're not feeling as energetic as you were, that's why. That is why. And it is beautiful to just embrace that and do what feels right to you. In this kind of phase, I like to make a lot of soup. Start having more like cooked vegetables because they're easier on the stomach. Just having more hearty, warm foods in general. And yeah, I just start to wind down a little bit, do a little bit more journaling, maybe meditating. Yeah, and this phase, it lasts the longest until you reach your menstrual phase. And your menstrual phase is when you bleed. This is the phase that everyone hates. But it can actually be a really lovely thing if you allow yourself to feel it. Because this is a stage where you are feeling the most emotional and you're not feeling as high energy, you don't want to do exercise, and that's okay. If you do want to do exercise during this time, I would think about maybe doing like a light yoga or just stretching in general. You don't want to push it too far because it can make you, I don't know about you guys, but it makes me feel quite nauseous and it doesn't feel right for me to go on a run on my period. I will never go on a run on my period. Absolutely not. You want to eat more, especially leading up to your period as well. You'll want to eat more. That's because your body's using up a lot of energy, building up that lining and shedding it. So I would probably eat a lot more calorific foods, a lot more hearty foods. Again, cooked cooked vegetables, a lot of soup. Especially in the winter, I love soup. So your menstrual phase is like your winter phase, and it lasts around 5 to 8 days usually, give or take again. But people really, really hate this phase for many good reasons. But I think it's really beautiful when you actually embrace it a little bit more and you're like, oh, I'm feeling really emotional, I want to cry, and you're just like, you know what, I'm gonna take the night to not socialize, maybe be in my bed. I like to watch really, really silly movies, like really cheesy rom-coms or something, because I'm just feeling it. I want to feel the emotions, I'm an emotional girl, and if I want to cry with a water bottle on my belly, I'm gonna do that. With a load of chocolate, because I fully embrace the moment of being on my period. And then it goes straight into the follicular phase again. And I really like this kind of balance, to be fair, to really embrace like every single stage, because you can't have that ovulation phase without having that menstrual phase, or that, you can't have highs without the lows. And I think it's really nice that we get to go through all of those 4 stages. Now, saying that, not everyone goes through the 4 stages. Naturally, we do. But if you are someone that takes hormonal birth control, most of the time, your ovulation, you don't ovulate. Because you have synthetic hormones running in your body, most of the time your estrogen and progesterone is high. So it doesn't cause you to ovulate. And when you don't ovulate, you don't have the 4 stages. There are some birth controls. There's non-hormonal birth control. There is also, I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think there is also a hormonal birth control that does allow you to ovulate. I'd have to fact check that because I don't know for sure. But yeah, if you are on birth control, this might not apply to you. You might not feel these types of phases or be able to embrace them. Obviously, I might do a separate video on birth control, to be honest, because I think it's a really interesting topic that I'd love to share my opinion on. Yeah, I would, if you guys want to see that kind of thing and want to hear about my opinion on that, I'll pop it down in the comments, and maybe I'll make one, because I think it's really important. I was talking to a friend at work the other day, and I said, she was like, you feeling alright? You're a bit spacey. And I was like, oh, I'm really tired, but it's like, I'm in my luteal phase, so like it's fine. And she's like, what's a luteal phase? And I'm like, girl, you have a luteal phase, probably too, but it's because literally no one like tells you about it. Like, you don't know. Like, I didn't know this stuff until about 2 years ago. I did not know that you had 4 phases in your period. And some days I'd wake up and feel like absolute crap, and I'd be like, why am I so tired when last week I was so energetic? I started thinking there's a hair stuck in my microphone. Sorry, I got really distracted. I hope that's not causing any problems. It probably is. I forgot what I was saying now. Oh yeah, I just thought like one day I was really energetic, or one day I was thinking, is there something else wrong with me? Like, do I need to get a blood test? But it was to do with my period. I've never actually been on birth control, so I've always had my natural period. So I track it in a app. I track it in an app to know when I'm fertile, like when my ovulation is and stuff. So I'll look at it quite frequently. If I'm feeling really like emotional, I usually check my app and realize that my period is coming up, or it is that day, which helps me be a little bit kinder to myself. But yeah, it's absolutely beautiful when you go through these stages and you start to live by it. So you start to do exercise according to what feels good in that phase. You start to eat differently. There's so much information online if you go searching for it. There's lots of accounts on TikTok also, like hormonal coaches that talk about it. But I would research it, because it is so crazy that we're not really taught it, or at least not to the extent that we should be. And most women do not know what's going on in their body, which is fair enough. Like, you cannot blame them, but it's so important, and it feels so nice when you're way more in tune with it, way more harmonious with it, and you embrace it for what it is. But yeah. I also want to talk about one time just the amount you have to go through if you do have a problem with your period, if you do have something like endometriosis, because I know a couple people with endometriosis, and oh my gosh, is it difficult to even get help to acquire surgery, to acquire any doctor that is going to take it seriously. That is a huge topic for another day, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more, let me know. This tea is really good. This is one of my favorite teas I've ever had, actually. Maybe it's just because I got the perfect amount of honey in it too. Like, I like my teas sweet. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.